Hello, YouTubers and fellow Alaskans. It's the Frontier Friends here. I'm Artie, he's James, and today we are going to have some fun talking about Hollywood role transition. And when I say that, I mean we're talking about basically how some actors go from playing their generic role and then they jump into something darker, like maybe play a bad guy or maybe a comedic role or whatnot, so on and so forth. The two examples I'm going to bring to the table are Jean-Claude Van Damme. Uh, but we're gonna go ahead and let James here go ahead and take away how he feels about that. So it's all you, boss man.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of actors do it. You're talking about martial artists trying to be serious. I mean, I think at Tropic Thunder, where they were kind of making fun of that, like Ben Stiller, like trying, I was like, there's those martial art, those action heroes that are like trying to break out, or just like I think Jim Carrey tried to be like change his role to be like serious, or you got Will Smith that was like had his certain genre, and then he tries to do some serious movies. I mean, like a lot of actors do it. They try not to be typecast. And you got the opposite. Then you got Tom Cruise, who then tried to do some funny stuff in Tropic Thunder. That comedic element. You get all kinds of people trying to
Yeah,
break out of their niche to try to, either make more money, try to get that Oscar nomination.
yeah, absolutely. I get it with you. You hit some nails on the head there. I think one of the most unique ones. I think one of the most unique guys that I'm seeing out there doing different stuff or being grittier or even funnier sometimes is Jean-Claude Van Damme. Anybody who doesn't know who he is, either you're very young or you simply live underneath a rock. But in the '90s, he was the upcoming action star. Well, martial artist turned action star. Uh, in most movies, he basically was the same character every time. Um, he just incorporated his martial arts into his into his movie skits, and it just cracked me up because like no matter what he was doing, like he could do the same stuff. Like at some point in every movie, he's done a spinning helicopter roundhouse kick, or he's done the splits, like essentially. But as time went on, he started taking on grittier roles. Uh, let's see, he was in Hard Target, he was in Sudden Death, he was in Street Fighter. Then he went to In Hell, where he's basically in a Russian prison for I don't know killing a mafia member of the Russian mafia. I don't know. You have to go watch it. Good movie, just really dark and gritty. And then he went to Welcome to the Jungle, which is actually very comedic. Granted, he didn't have very many roles in it. I mean, he
Mhm.
didn't have much runtime. He didn't have much screen time. He did, but for what he was on there with, uh, he was funny as hell. Like, I'm sorry, it made me laugh. I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you got guys like that. Another good guy would be Jackie Chan. He went from the comedic action star, martial artist. I think maybe he has a little bit more background credit than John Claude. I'm pretty sure. I think he went to acting school as well as also studying and studying martial arts his whole life, essentially. And he went from the typical Project A Jackie Chan First Strike to the Foreigner, where he's like, going toe to toe with like Irish embassy dudes. I don't even know. Again, another movie you might want to check out yourself. But those are my examples. They make these transitions. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And personally, for me, for those two, they worked very, very well.
I feel like Jackie Chan like has more, I don't know if it's charm or charismatic than John Claude. I mean, like, I mean, like a lot of John Claude's movies went straight to DVD kind of stuff. I don't remember like, and maybe just because where we live in Alaska, like there being premieres for like, In Hell or some of those later ones that he was doing. But
Yeah.
I guess I just felt like, John Claude is just, I think, just a little bit more of a limited martial artist. He was a kickboxer, and like you said, he had the helicopter kick, and then he has the splits. And it's kind of too like, and the thing is too with the splits, it's like everybody else is doing something else, and then it's like we have to force the splits, like, and then it just seems like kind of it's like inappropriate. Or it's fan service, and it's fan service for one, and that's John Claude Van Damme. It's like nobody else needed to see the splits. You know what I mean? but he needed it because that was like half of his signature move, right? It's like, how can I
Yeah.
force the splits in this movie? And then it's like creative, like some chick walks in and he's like, you know, or
He's
just something like that.
or
But
just
it's
like a
like,
simple his trademark. Another good trademark of his is the grunts.
hmm,
The it's like, oh, okay, like every time this guy, and every time he uses, like, literally, it's the funniest thing in the world. When he's kicking somebody, he does like a snap kick. It's always a snap kick, which, if you think about it, a good snap kick could knock somebody out. Like it could, but it's the same kick every time. And then when he punches somebody, it's he never punches somebody, but if he does, it's a high upper elbow strike. Or this, and it's just like, okay. I mean, this is all you know.
yeah.
Like, I mean, come on,
It's
man.
kind of
Like,
like he only has like one, and it's the same criticism I have of like Steven Seagal. You know, you kind of have like one thing that you're good at, but it's still kind of like after your first couple movies, like it's not that impressive anymore, right?
the
It's just
problem
the
with Steve.
same thing.
The problem with
I
Steven
feel like
Seagal. Sorry for no. The problem with Steven Seagal is he's that one actor. He's that one martial artist turned actor who did not stray away. He did not try to change it up. Woo!
well, I
I
guess he
hope
wanted to
we can
stop
edit that
killing
out.
people in his movies, and then like everyone has to conform
Yeah.
around Steven Seagal, and they're just like, yeah, so I was gonna die, but Steven Seagal didn't want to kill anybody in his movies, and we were halfway through the movie, so we had to go shoot it. I don't know. There's some video on YouTube you can find where this actor is working with Steven Seagal and talking about
I
how
yeah.
Steven Seagal had a change in his motto or whatever, and everybody has to accommodate because he kind of seems like a prima donna. But,
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. The guy said, I don't, I don't know who the guy is. He's got one of those faces that you recognize,
mhm.
but like the interview was hilarious. Like, it cracked me up because he's just like I don't know how this goes, but the director came in and said, listen, we got a problem. Steven Seagal doesn't want to kill anybody. He's just like, okay. He's like, it just causes violence in the world. I'm like, nobody else watches Steven Seagal movies that often. So I'm pretty sure we'll be fine. He's like, no, he wants to reshoot the scene. And he's just like, I don't know. I just feel like Steven Seagal is one of those guys who still thinks he's the shit. Like, he's the typical, he wears a trench coat and assault rifle. Like, in every movie, he's got a ponytail, trench coat, and like tonfa sticks concealed. Like, he's like a chunky Batman, if you will. It's like, damn, dude, like, he's got utilities, but I don't know. I don't know. Steven Seagal is probably the worst developed actor in terms of like 90s action heroes. Like, he didn't evolve. He just gained weight.
Yes, and has turned more and more into a pumpkin. You know, man, looking back at his beginning movies and looking at him now, you're just like, man, he used to have like, you looked, I don't know, he looked like white, a European. He had like that jawline, and now he just looks like a pumpkin. Like he looks like a fake tan. I don't know. He just looks unhealthy, but whatever. But I
I,
feel
I
like,
remember
oh, go on.
I remember Jean Claude was doing Expendables. Um, he had said, he's like, I would like to have Steven Seagal come act and get on here with us. I mean, he probably needs to lose some weight. And then like the interviewer started laughing. He's like, no, I'm serious. Like, you try to do stunts like that or do fight scenes and you're that heavy, and he's like 300 pounds. Like, no, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm serious. Like, he needs to get into a decent shape before he
Yeah.
comes back, and and then we'll take it from there. But I would love to have him on here. I'm not trying to be mean. Which,
Yeah.
you got to give Van Damme his props, man. At least that dude's staying in shape. Same thing with Jackie Chan. But yeah, this is why I said, like, most of these action stars from the 90s, they either evolved or just did something, or you know, Dave did things, but Ooh,
Yeah, I mean
excuse me, sorry.
that's why I
Steven
feel like Jackie
Seagal.
Chan had like that advantage because like beginning where he started, he had so many things that he does that are really good. Like he's a stunt man. He has good choreography, and then he incorporates items into his fight scenes that makes it fresh. And two, he's the only one that has his role in a movie where he's not the tough guy. And that is so different than most action movies.
it's it's very true. I like how you brought that up. Yeah, he's usually the nice guy who looks like he's scared to death. Like he's always got like the wide stance, bow-legged run while he's running from people, and then he's like throwing trash cans and busting people in the mouth with them. Or he takes a ladder, or he takes a ladder, and he's just,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. The guy, Jackie Chan, managed all of Jackie Chan's movies are still very unique.
Yeah, and then he's also a master at like parkour, like running up buildings and doing crazy stuff like that. And that's the thing, by not playing the tough guy and having all these skills and different things, he is the tough guy out of all these action heroes. Because like he's broken all his bones. You see the outtakes of where he like actually gets hurt, and being
Oh,
a stuntman, it's legit when he's doing his own stuff. Like people talk about, is this legit? Is that legit? Like Jackie Chan is like super legit and being a stuntman.
oh, dude, Jackie Chan, without a doubt, is one of the most fearless guys in Hollywood. I don't care. I mean, I don't think anybody's gonna topple him. Like, I mean, if you guys are out there, you guys know who the AVGN guy is. Actual name is James Rolfe. He did a review on the top 10 Jackie Chan stunts, and I'm telling you, every time I watch the video, I go back to it from time to time, and James has too. Uh, there's one where he cracked his cranium open. Bro, if I break my arm, that's it. I'm done. I'm like, no, that freaking hurt, man. That was stupid. The
Yeah.
guy's a beast. Like I said, he's evolved and he's had things to go off. I think that's once again, I'm gonna go back to it. If I think about it, Steven Seagal is probably like the worst adapted action star martial artist in Hollywood. Like he is the worst. He just went downhill. He did not evolve. Everybody, Jean Claude Van Damme tried different aspects of acting. He went from the hero, playing the generic hero in every single movie, to the bad guy, to comedic relief. And it's just darker roles. Jackie Chan, he made a jump and played some darker roles. Uh, I mean, Sylvester Stallone, he expanded. He took some of his stuff, went back, and went grittier with it. Like when he was done with Rambo, we haven't seen Rambo for what, 10, 20 years, 10
Yeah.
years, and then he came back with two more Rambos, and I'm like, holy! And that not the last. The last one was rough, but the one before that was gritty, and man, yeah, they were tough. Arnold came back. He got a little bulky. I mean, for an old guy, he got bulky and got back into acting again.
Yeah.
And even Bruce Willis came back with more Die Hard movies, and that just goes to point to me, like, it's kind of sad. On another note, when we have to go back, we have to backtrack to get like to move forward. It's like we have to bring back the big dogs to go do that. I'm like, it's kind of sad, really. You
Well,
know?
it's sad, and then they can't do half the things they used to do, and we just
Yeah.
put in more special effects. I
To
don't know.
make
I
them look
mean,
like they're actually running.
yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I don't know. Like, I can still go back, and I like those original '90s, those gritty martial arts movies. Even if you're doing something like Ninja Turtles, I would still prefer the '90s Ninja Turtles over the CGI remake. A couple years ago.
Absolutely. I'm with you on that 100% because it's respectable. I mean, anybody with the CGI team could put together, you can put together a fight scene. The guys got like the little dotted suits, etc., and all that shit. But those Ninja Turtles from the '90s, dude, those were real martial artists in bulky suits
Mhm.
doing that, man. So I'm like, bro, that was committed. Like, I'm like, that is good. They were just funner, especially. I'm sorry, especially the first Ninja Turtles. Maybe because the tone was dark. It was just a really dark tone. And then the second one came in, it was kind of like goofy, wacky. And
Mhm.
then we're not going to talk about the third one. The third one didn't happen, in my opinion. It just didn't
Yeah.
happen. But yeah, I mean, it just, just I don't know. I mean, for me, in my personal opinion, '90s action superheroes, they were a big part in the '90s. It's just kind of sad to see a decline. I'd rather see an alternative movement as opposed to a decline. But some of them got it, some don't.
Yeah. And I
So
know there's criticism of like, a lot of those things, the action is sped up. They're not going at normal frame rates. The action is sped up.
yeah,
Compared to what it is now, where it's all jump cam, a lot of things. And I know there's certain things that were back then jump cam, but I don't know. It just makes it hard to really appreciate like an action movie nowadays with the camera angles changing. You can't really tell what's happening, and so it's really a lack of, which I feel like then it just leads to a lack of appreciation for the people actually doing the stunts when you can't even capture what's going on.
yeah, absolutely, yes. Once again, that goes back to the '90s guys like Jackie Chan and stuff. Like you said, Ewan Pool Wing. These guys, the choreography is ridiculous. I remember the first time you saw Jackie Chan, like Ewan Pool Wing. And was it Miracles or My Lucky Stars or Jackie Chan's Black Dragon Clan? And that was one of the first movies you watched. You were just like, this is ridiculously good. Like it was. That choreography was insane. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is insane. Like what? And then also now you got to go on like a binge watch and watch all these Jackie Chan movies that are really good. And I don't know. I just don't think it'll be the same. They tried it with Tony Jaa, Tony Jaa, that's his name. He had a couple of movies come out there, and I think for me, what happened with Tony Jaa was he had a stunt team, but as I watched some of the movies later on movies, he's not using the same stunt team. He's got another team, or maybe it's how they're just shooting it. I don't know. But in like Ong Bak and The Protector, the choreography was nuts. I was like, damn, this is good. But then in
Yeah.
some of these other movies, it was just like, okay, I don't understand what's going on here. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, definitely. Yeah, no,
so
I
yeah.
appreciate Tony Jaa, especially because he came kind of after everybody, and then he's doing his own moves. He's getting high with it. He's has his own style, and
Yeah.
he's super athletic. So it looks like he's doing what he's actually doing, which is amazing. And two, a lot of his takes though are very, in especially in On Bach and the Protector, were very long. Like Jackie kind of like, it'd be one camera showing him beating up a couple guys. I mean, I think
Yeah.
Scott Atkins kind of goes through some of Tony Jaa's fights and kind of breaks down kind of them, and they're really good.
That's a very good point you made with the one takes and several takes. And that's one thing Jackie said that actually stuck with me, like all the way through watching, or even today when I'm watching movies. Uh, in Asia, they're doing the boom. In America, it's bop bop cut, bop bop cut, bop bop cut. Okay, flip that, go there. That looks good. But in China, when they're doing it, they're going like Then they all right, cut, good. It's like you got to have some respect for that crap. That's why I said the choreography is on point with Jackie Chan movies. I'm like, it's insane. If you guys are watching this, go watch the old school Jackie Chan videos. Police Story 2, Project A, Super Cop. Go watch those. That's all his choreography. That's him and Yu Pung Wing all working
Yeah.
together. That's good platinum level combat. There's
Well, they're
no
able
other.
they're
Go
able to
ahead.
tell a story through the fighting. I mean, think
Yeah,
about that in like American fight scenes. Like, how often can you tell a story in the fight scene where no one is talking? But in a lot of these old like Jackie Chan movies and other ones, he starts out, maybe gets beat up, and then he comes back, and so you see that through the fight. There might not be any dialogue, but you see that, you know, and when they do blah 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 cut, and then they just move things, and you don't even know, like the Bourne movies, like they're cool, but like you can't really tell who's fighting who, and it doesn't just show off the story in the fighting. I mean, there's no really story. It's just like, oh, here's a guy beat him up. I'm a badass. I'm a badass. I'm a
I
badass.
just I feel like the Bourne movies are like a half-assed attempt at kind of doing something that James Bond is doing,
Hmm.
just putting a spin on it. Like, who am I? Oh, my memories. blah 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 blah. Blah. Oh man, I can do this and that and this. It's like, come on, man. That's not how that shit works. But I mean, that's neither here nor there. I just, yeah, like the story, you know, like I swear, like that's another thing you got to give credit to Jackie Chan for his writing. The story is always different. There's always like a unique boss. There's always a badass at the end of the line that he has to come across, and he does it so well of him getting his ass kicked. The prime example is Drunken Master, or in Asia is known as Drunken Master too. But that's a movie that you got to check out because it looks like we are out of time. So thank you so much
Yes. Thank you.
for watching the video. If you like what you were seeing or hearing, go to the comment section and say something, like and subscribe. And if you got something you want us to talk about, put it down in that comment section. You guys be easy. Peace.
Peace.